If you are over 60 and your doctor told you that type 2 diabetes is a life sentence you must manage with medications forever, stop for a moment and listen carefully. I hear this question almost every week in my clinic. Dr. Marcus, my blood sugar is still 180 even with medications. Is there anything else I can do? Just recently, a 68-year-old patient asked me the same thing. She had been taking metformin for 8 years. Her A1C hovered around 8.2. Her fasting glucose never dropped below 160. What surprised her was this. Within 4 months of adding one specific spice to her daily routine, her A1C dropped to 5.8. Her fasting glucose stabilized at 95. Her doctor reduced her medication by half. She was not following some extreme diet. She was not spending hours at the gym. She was using a simple spice that most people have sitting in their kitchen cabinet right now. New research shows that one very common approach to managing diabetes, especially in adults over 60, completely ignores this powerful natural compound that can reverse insulin resistance at the cellular level. I'm Dr. Marcus Chen, and in this video, I will reveal that spice, explain exactly how it works in your body, and give you the 5 proven ways to use it so you can reverse type 2 diabetes and potentially eliminate your need for medications. Before we dive in, drop a comment with your age and where you're watching from today. Have you been struggling with high blood sugar despite medications? Are you frustrated with diabetes management? Write your answer below because your experience helps our entire community. And hit that subscribe button because I share life-saving health strategies like this every week to help you thrive after 60. Most people believe that once you develop type 2 diabetes, your pancreas is permanently damaged and you will need medications forever. But in adults over 60, that assumption is often completely wrong. Type 2 diabetes is fundamentally different from type 1. In type 2, your pancreas can still produce insulin. The problem is insulin resistance. Your cells stop responding to insulin properly. Without addressing this root cause, medications only mask the symptoms. They do not fix the underlying problem. Here is what actually happens. When you eat food, your blood sugar rises. Your pancreas releases insulin to move that sugar from your bloodstream into your cells for energy. But when cells become resistant to insulin, sugar stays in your blood. Your pancreas pumps out more and more insulin trying to compensate. Eventually, this system breaks down completely. I saw this clearly with one of my patients named Richard, age 71. He had been diabetic for 12 years. He was taking 3 different medications. His blood sugar readings were erratic. Some days 220, other days 140, never stable. His energy was terrible. He felt exhausted by 2 p.m. every afternoon. His feet tingled constantly from early neuropathy. His doctor kept increasing his medication doses. What most people do not realize is that medications lower blood sugar temporarily. They do not reverse insulin resistance. They do not heal your cells. They do not restore normal metabolic function. In older adults, focusing only on medications often means missing the opportunity to actually reverse the disease. This is why so many seniors stay on diabetes medications for decades and watch their condition slowly worsen. Now, here is where the first major mistake happens. Most seniors rely entirely on medications and ignore the cellular inflammation driving their insulin resistance. They assume that taking pills is the only solution. But in people over 60, this approach often does not work long-term. Reversing diabetes requires addressing inflammation at the cellular level, not just lowering blood sugar artificially. With age, chronic inflammation accumulates in your body. This inflammation directly damages insulin receptors on your cells. It interferes with glucose metabolism. It creates oxidative stress that makes insulin resistance worse. Without addressing this inflammation, your diabetes continues progressing. This is not rare. It is extremely common. That 68-year-old patient I mentioned earlier was taking her medications faithfully every day. Same doses, same timing, same routine. Yet her blood sugar remained dangerously high for years. When we implemented a strategy that targeted cellular inflammation, not just blood sugar numbers, her insulin sensitivity improved dramatically. This is why anti-inflammatory compounds matter just as much as medications. If you're finding this helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. It really supports the channel and helps us reach more seniors who need this information. Now let us talk about the spice that changes everything. And this one is extremely powerful. The spice is cinnamon. Not just any cinnamon, but specifically Ceylon cinnamon, also called true cinnamon. If you look at most people's approach to diabetes management, they focus on reducing sugar intake and taking medications. They assume cinnamon is just a flavoring for desserts. But this common kitchen spice contains compounds that directly reverse insulin resistance at the molecular level. The active compounds in cinnamon are called cinnamaldehyde and procyanidins. These compounds activate insulin receptors on your cells. They make your cells more sensitive to insulin. They reduce the amount of insulin needed to move glucose into cells. That effect happens at the cellular level, not just in your bloodstream. In adults over 60, using therapeutic doses of cinnamon can reduce fasting blood sugar by 20 to 30% within weeks. I saw this with a patient named Dorothy, age 66. She had been pre-diabetic for 5 years with fasting glucose consistently between 115 and 125. Her doctor warned her she was headed toward full diabetes. She started taking 1 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon twice daily, mixed in warm water. Within 6 weeks, her fasting glucose dropped to 92. After 3 months, it stabilized at 88. Her A1C went from 6.2 to 5.4. She never developed diabetes. Research shows that cinnamon works through multiple mechanisms simultaneously. It slows gastric emptying, which prevents blood sugar spikes after meals. It inhibits enzymes that break down carbohydrates in your digestive system. It increases glucose uptake into cells without requiring more insulin. It reduces inflammation in fat tissue where insulin resistance often starts. Another critical factor is understanding the difference between Ceylon cinnamon and cassia cinnamon. Most cinnamon sold in grocery stores is cassia cinnamon. Cassia contains high levels of coumarin, a compound that can damage your liver in large doses. Ceylon cinnamon contains almost no coumarin. It is safe for daily therapeutic use. There is also a dangerous misunderstanding about dosage. Some people sprinkle a tiny amount of cinnamon on their oatmeal and expect results. That amount is too small to have therapeutic effects. The research-backed dose is 1 to 3 grams daily. That equals approximately half to 1.5 teaspoons. The key lesson here is simple. If you are over 60 and struggling with high blood sugar or insulin resistance, ignoring cinnamon's proven benefits may keep you dependent on medications unnecessarily. Using it correctly can restore insulin sensitivity naturally. Now we come to the second proven method for using cinnamon effectively, and this one is critical for seniors. Method number 2 is proper timing and combination with meals. Many people take cinnamon randomly throughout the day. They add it to their morning coffee or evening tea without thinking about timing. Cinnamon works best when timed strategically around meals. Your blood sugar spikes happen after eating. That is when insulin resistance causes the most damage. Taking cinnamon 15 to 30 minutes before meals primes your cells to handle incoming glucose more efficiently. I saw this pattern clearly in a 73-year-old patient named George. He had been taking cinnamon sporadically for months with minimal results. His post-meal blood sugar still spiked to 200 or higher. When we adjusted his timing to take 1 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon mixed in warm water 20 minutes before breakfast and dinner, his post-meal spikes dropped dramatically. After breakfast, his blood sugar stayed under 140 instead of reaching 210. After dinner, it peaked at 135 instead of 195. Within 8 weeks of consistent timing, his overall blood sugar control improved so much, his doctor reduced his metformin dose by 50%. Another overlooked strategy is combining cinnamon with specific foods that enhance its effects. Cinnamon works synergistically with chromium-rich foods like broccoli, green beans, and barley. It amplifies the blood sugar benefits of high-fiber foods like oats, lentils, and chia seeds. It enhances the anti-inflammatory effects of omega-3 rich foods like fatty fish and walnuts. A practical approach is adding cinnamon to protein-rich breakfasts. Mix it into Greek yogurt with berries and nuts. Stir it into oatmeal with flax seeds and walnuts. Blend it into smoothies with spinach, protein powder, and avocado. The combination of protein, fiber, healthy fats, and cinnamon creates stable blood sugar for hours. The exact timing depends on your eating schedule. If you eat 3 meals daily, take cinnamon before your 2 largest meals. If you eat smaller, more frequent meals, take it before breakfast and before your final meal of the day. Finally, consistency matters more than perfection. Taking cinnamon sporadically gives sporadic results. Taking it daily at the same times creates cumulative benefits. Your cells adapt. Your insulin sensitivity improves progressively. By this point, you may realize something important. Most seniors are not refusing to try natural approaches. They are using them incorrectly or inconsistently. Each missed dose reduces effectiveness. Improper timing limits results. Together, these mistakes can make a powerful tool seem ineffective. Now let me walk you through the third proven method for maximizing cinnamon's diabetes reversing effects. This is the approach I use with my own patients over 60. Method number 3 is combining cinnamon with blood sugar balancing lifestyle modifications. For most seniors, cinnamon alone provides significant benefits, but combining it with specific lifestyle changes multiplies its effectiveness exponentially. These are not complicated interventions. They are simple adjustments that work synergistically with cinnamon to restore normal insulin function. Think of cinnamon as the catalyst that makes everything else work better. Your body's response to diet, exercise, stress, and sleep all improve when insulin sensitivity increases. First, let us talk about carbohydrate timing and quality. Not all carbohydrates affect blood sugar equally. Refined carbs like white bread, white rice, and sugary foods spike blood sugar rapidly. Complex carbs like sweet potatoes, quinoa, and legumes release glucose slowly. When you combine cinnamon with low glycemic complex carbohydrates, your blood sugar remains stable for hours. I had a patient named Barbara, age 69, who loved bread and pasta. Her Italian heritage made these foods central to her diet. Her blood sugar was completely out of control. Fasting glucose around 190. A1C at 9.1. She was taking maximum doses of 2 diabetes medications. She felt hopeless because she could not imagine life without her traditional foods. We did not eliminate carbs completely. We changed the type and timing. She switched from white pasta to whole grain or lentil pasta. She replaced white bread with sprouted grain bread. She ate these carbs only at lunch, not dinner. She took 1 teaspoon of cinnamon 30 minutes before lunch. She added extra vegetables and protein to every carb-containing meal. Within 3 months, her fasting glucose dropped to 118. Her A1C fell to 6.8. She was eating foods she loved, but her body was processing them completely differently. Second, walking after meals dramatically enhances cinnamon's effects. A 15-minute walk after eating moves glucose out of your bloodstream and into your muscles without requiring extra insulin. Combined with cinnamon's insulin-sensitizing effects, this creates powerful blood sugar control. Research shows that a 15-minute post-meal walk can reduce blood sugar spikes by 30%. When combined with pre-meal cinnamon, the reduction can reach 50% or more. Third, stress management directly impacts insulin resistance. Chronic stress elevates cortisol. High cortisol increases blood sugar and worsens insulin resistance. It counteracts everything cinnamon is trying to accomplish. Effective stress reduction includes daily meditation or deep breathing for 10 minutes, moderate exercise like walking, swimming, or yoga, social connection with friends or family, adequate sleep of 7 to 8 hours nightly, and avoiding inflammatory stressors like excess alcohol or processed foods. I saw this clearly with a patient named Robert, age 74. His blood sugar was controlled reasonably well with medications. His A1C was 6.9. But he was under tremendous stress caring for his wife, who had dementia. His cortisol levels were sky high. His blood sugar became erratic and unpredictable. We added cinnamon to his routine. We also implemented a stress management protocol. He started taking 15-minute morning walks while listening to calming music. He joined a caregiver support group. He began practicing 10 minutes of deep breathing before bed. He took 1 teaspoon of cinnamon twice daily. Within 2 months, his blood sugar stabilized. His A1C dropped to 6.1. His medication dose was reduced. He felt calmer and more in control. Fourth, sleep quality affects insulin sensitivity profoundly. Poor sleep disrupts hormone balance. It increases hunger hormones. It decreases insulin sensitivity. 1 night of poor sleep can make your cells 30% more insulin resistant the next day. Improving sleep includes maintaining consistent sleep and wake times, avoiding screens 1 hour before bed, keeping your bedroom cool and dark, avoiding large meals or caffeine after 6 p.m., and using relaxation techniques if you struggle to fall asleep. Fifth, hydration supports every metabolic process, including glucose regulation. Dehydration concentrates blood sugar. It makes insulin work less efficiently. Drinking adequate water, especially before meals, helps your body process glucose more effectively. Aim for 6 to 8 glasses of water daily. More if you exercise or live in a hot climate. Add lemon or a pinch of sea salt for enhanced absorption. Sixth, anti-inflammatory eating amplifies cinnamon's anti-inflammatory effects. Foods rich in omega-3 fats like salmon, sardines, mackerel, walnuts, and flax seeds reduce cellular inflammation. Colorful vegetables like leafy greens, bell peppers, tomatoes, and purple cabbage provide antioxidants that protect insulin receptors. Herbs and spices like turmeric, ginger, garlic, and of course cinnamon fight inflammation at the molecular level. A patient aged 67 named Helen followed this combined protocol religiously. She took cinnamon before meals. She walked 20 minutes after dinner. She switched to anti-inflammatory eating. She prioritized sleep and stress management. Her transformation was remarkable. In 5 months, her fasting glucose dropped from 175 to 94. Her A1C fell from 8.4 to 5.7. She lost 28 pounds without counting calories. Her energy returned. Her neuropathy symptoms disappeared. Her doctor eliminated one medication entirely and reduced the other by 75%. At this point, it is important to understand one critical truth. Cinnamon is powerful, but it is not magic. There are situations where cinnamon alone will not reverse diabetes completely. One of the most common issues is advanced beta cell damage. If your pancreas has been overworked for decades, some insulin-producing cells may be permanently damaged. Cinnamon can improve insulin sensitivity, but it cannot regenerate destroyed pancreatic cells. Another overlooked factor is medication interference. Some diabetes medications work against cinnamon's natural mechanisms. Sulfonylureas, for example, force your pancreas to produce more insulin. Cinnamon works by improving insulin sensitivity, not increasing insulin production. The two approaches can conflict. There is also the issue of underlying inflammation sources. If you have chronic infections, severe gut inflammation, or autoimmune conditions, these may drive insulin resistance independently. Cinnamon reduces inflammation, but it cannot eliminate all inflammatory triggers. This is why working with a knowledgeable healthcare provider is essential. Do not stop or reduce medications without medical supervision. Monitor your blood sugar carefully as cinnamon begins working. Some people experience blood sugar that drops too low when combining cinnamon with medications. That requires medication adjustment. I want to share a quick example. A 70-year-old man came to me frustrated. He had been taking cinnamon for 2 months. He saw no improvement in his blood sugar. He was ready to give up. When I reviewed his approach, the problems were obvious. He was using cassia cinnamon in tiny amounts. He was taking it inconsistently. He was still eating processed foods and sugary snacks throughout the day. He was not exercising at all. He expected cinnamon to overcome terrible dietary habits. Once we corrected his approach with Ceylon cinnamon at therapeutic doses, proper timing, dietary improvements, and daily walking, his blood sugar began improving within 2 weeks. Now, let us continue with the 4th proven method for using cinnamon to reverse diabetes. Method number 4 is monitoring and adjusting based on your body's response. Many seniors start using cinnamon and never track whether it is actually working. They assume they will feel different or notice obvious changes. Blood sugar improvement often happens gradually without dramatic symptoms. You must measure to know if it is working. The most important measurement is fasting blood glucose. Check it first thing in the morning before eating or drinking anything. Record it daily for the first month. Look for trends. Is your average fasting glucose decreasing week over week? A successful response shows fasting glucose dropping 5 to 15 points within the first 2 weeks, 15 to 30 points within the first month, and continued gradual improvement over 3 to 6 months. I saw this clearly with a 72-year-old patient named Margaret. She started taking Ceylon cinnamon, 1 teaspoon twice daily. In week 1, her average fasting glucose was 168. In week 2, it dropped to 154. By week 4, it was 142. By week 8, it stabilized at 118. By month 4, it averaged 98. This gradual, consistent improvement showed cinnamon was working exactly as expected. Her body was becoming progressively more insulin sensitive. Post-meal blood sugar is another critical measurement. Check your blood sugar 1 to 2 hours after eating. This shows how well your body handles glucose from food. Before cinnamon, many diabetics see post-meal spikes to 200 or higher. With cinnamon, those spikes should reduce to 140 to 160 initially, then eventually to 120 to 140. A patient aged 71 named William tracked his post-dinner blood sugar religiously. Before cinnamon, it averaged 215 2 hours after dinner. After starting cinnamon before dinner plus a 15-minute evening walk, his post-dinner readings dropped to an average of 138 within 6 weeks. A1C testing every 3 months provides the big picture. A1C measures your average blood sugar over the previous 3 months. It is the gold standard for diabetes management. Expect A1C to drop 0.5 to 1.5 points over the first 3 to 6 months of consistent cinnamon use combined with lifestyle modifications. One patient started with an A1C of 8.9. After 3 months of the cinnamon protocol, it dropped to 7.4. After 6 months, it reached 6.2. After 9 months, it was 5.6, no longer in the diabetic range. Another overlooked measurement is how you feel. Energy levels, mental clarity, sleep quality, and mood all improve as blood sugar stabilizes. Many diabetics do not realize how terrible they feel until they start feeling normal again. Track subjective improvements. Are you sleeping better? Do you have more energy? Is your brain fog clearing? These are signs insulin sensitivity is improving. Finally, medication needs change as cinnamon works. If your blood sugar drops too low, you may experience shakiness, sweating, confusion, or rapid heartbeat. This is hypoglycemia. It means your medication dose is too high now that cinnamon is improving insulin sensitivity. Never adjust medications yourself. Work with your doctor. As your blood sugar improves, your doctor should reduce medication doses to prevent dangerous lows. The key principle is this: what gets measured gets managed. Track your numbers. Adjust your approach based on results.